There are two ways in creating a ball in Blender. There's a way with a single texture, and there's another way with two textures. If you wish to find out the one with the first texture, just stick around shortly. If you wish to find out about how to use it with two textures, jump to this time frame. First, we will be discussing how to create a ball with a single texture. What you want to do is spawn in an icosphere, not a UV sphere, unless you're not wanting to use physics. UV spheres do not have proper collisions which allow it to collide. Icospheres are much better when trying to use soft bodies or cloth physics. You can follow this tutorial using a UV sphere instead and it will work exactly the same. First, you want to go to Material, add a new material and turn a specular down unless you want it to shine. Then you go to Texture, New, and open the texture you want. Once you've opened your ball texture, it might look undesirable. Do not worry at the moment though. Go to the Data tab and then click plus on UV maps. You're going to see that it looks a bit strange. This is perfectly fine. Press Tab to enter edit mode and then press U and then select sphere projection. This is to unwrap in a sphere projection. Click it and now your ball should look a little bit better. Your sphere texture should work around now, but if it doesn't and it still looks weird, use this button at the top right and drag left. Close this by just dragging it and then entering UV image editor. Make sure you've got your mouse in this section and press tab to enter edit mode and then click on this image button and select the image that you want to edit. You can see that the UV kind of doesn't fit it properly. So if it doesn't fit, all you have to do is make sure you select it on this tab, press A to select or deselect because that's how it swaps between, and then move it around until you see fit. You can press G to move, S to scale, and R to rotate. And when you've got one of these selected, you can press X or Y to edit on that specific axis. To make it look a bit more spherical, go to the Modifiers tab, add a modifier, and select Subdivision Surface. Then change the view to 2. The render will have more if you so choose. If it still looks a bit bumpy, try going to Tools and hit Smooth. This should smoothen out the lighting to give it more of a ball look. And to give it collision, you want to go to the Physics tab and enable Soft Body. Make sure you remove the Soft Body Goal and enable Soft Body Self Collision. Open up the soft body edges and mess around with the pull and push until you get something you wish. If you try to play it now, it's just going to fall through the floor because we have not set a collision. Right click on the plane and go to the Physics Property tab and then select Collision. Hit play and it should bounce. If it doesn't give you desirable results, make sure you select the ball again and try messing around with the pull and push. There we go. If you wish to create a ball with two textures, first create an icosphere. You do not select a UV sphere unless you don't want to apply physics. Icosphere is the best for physics manipulation. UV spheres do not work as well. First, go to Material, hit New, remove Specular unless you want it to be shiny, and then hit Texture, add the texture and add your front texture. Once you do this, it might look a bit weird. You need to scroll down and change the UV to generated. You'll see that she copies on both sides. First, rotate your sphere to the angle that you want. Now, press 1 or 3 on the numpad to try and get a front view of her. Press Tab to enter edit mode. Press A to deselect, if not already deselected. And press 5. This enters an orthographic mode. Select the sphere, make sure you press Tab to enter object mode. Select the sphere, go to Materials, add a new material, and make it your back texture. Same as before with the front texture. This texture will not be applied yet. What you have to do is press B to enter box selection and drag over. This way, in orthographic view, you've only selected half of the sphere. So now all you have to do is go to Material, make sure you got your back material selected and select Assign. Ensure that you go to Texture and it's also set to Generated. Now press 5 again to exit out of orthographic view. Press Tab to enter out of edit mode and look around. You should see that the ball is perfectly aligned now. Rotate it back to the front to be able to see it better and drag it forwards a bit. To make the ball smoother, you want to go to the Modifiers tab, add a modifier and Subdivision Surface. Turn that up by how much you think is suitable. I prefer 2. And if it still looks a bit rough, go to Tools and hit Smooth. Now, the only problem with using two textures is that the seam can be inconsistent. This is okay as it's never too big of a deal, and you can go into the material texture axes to try and edit them to make them fit a bit more if you so wish. To apply physics to it, go to the Physics tab and select Soft Body. Ensure that the object you are bouncing on has a collision, so clicking on display and you can see I've already applied a collision to it. Just all you have to do is select the collision button, and with the ball selected, ensure that you deselect goal and select self collision. Now if you try to play it now, it's going to look a bit goopy. If this is not your desirable result, pause it and try messing with the pull and the push until you get something you want. Now the difference between the two methods is quite noticeable at first glance. One has a well-sized face, but cuts off weirdly at the seam. The other, on the other hand, stretches, but the seam is quite untouched. You can simply choose which one you'd prefer to use.